Well, as you can see, it's Christmas Eve. Happy Saturnalia, Merry Solstice, whatever. Enjoy your family and food and presents and everything. That's all that really matters. Family and friends and food and presents. Anyway, here's a question that I was answering on a Facebook page. I have a question for the atheists in the community. How do you all feel about Richard Dawkins and the rest of the so-called new atheists? To me, they're too over the top. I get the impression that they think anyone who believes in any kind of higher power is automatically a dumbass, but I could be wrong. My response, it's the high reaction level that Christians are wound up to have, so that any word from any public speaking atheist seems too over the top, and taking the criticisms of religion as personal attacks. Most religion is dumb. There's no way around that. That an all-powerful God had to spend 2,000 years coming up with a plan to sacrifice himself to himself just to figure out how to forgive us for man and a rib woman eating a fruit that he put within reach of them, knowing human nature, and then blaming human nature, calling it sin, because some legged talking snake told them to eat the fruit. Dumb. Really intelligent people, though, can be suckered into believing such a bizarre and totally unrealistic story, which has also been proven soundly false. Childhood indoctrination and the peer pressures of society are extremely influential to our monkey-see, monkey-do brains. But they are both invalid ways of gaining unbiased information. It's just giving in, because it takes more energy to keep resisting people who won't leave you alone about it. Pray to God, love Jesus, pray to God, love Jesus, let Jesus into your heart, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, the social pressures, sometimes the monkey brain will just switch, and that's when people are born again. Richard Dawkins, yes, he is a bit of a hothead. I can't say I'd do any better in person. I write way more than I speak because I tend to fumble over my vocal words when I don't have a script. I'm not, when I don't know what I'm supposed to be saying, my brain slows down like this, loses words. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a problem or if it's just because I just never really had many friends growing up, so I never learned the art of conversation. Anyway, but yeah, so he may not be the right person to go around interviewing Richard Dawkins, because he seems to get as hot-tempered as I'd probably end up getting. Christopher Hitchens sort of passed me by without me noticing too much, but he had a lot of great things to say in retrospect. Sam Harris seems pretty decent and sound. I read his A Letter to a Christian America. And I also read In Defense of Atheism by Michel Onfray, and that was a definite eye-opener, so I respect him too. I don't really know any others outside of more YouTube users, I guess. But the importance of public atheist speakers is that those of us surrounded by those obsessed with the delusion finally have someone that we can talk to, someone who is not stuck in a religious mindset, primitive religious mindset, someone who doesn't arbitrarily and insultingly, like a celebrity that doesn't insultingly thank Jesus Christ for winning some movie award while kids in Africa are still starving. We despise some religions because those religions are disgusting. At least the beautiful, biblical, and Quranic religions. Someone just posted a word with the word beautiful. Anyway, at least the biblical and Quranic religions are disgusting, and to speak out against them is a moral duty, but there's no sense in making random negative situations in personal life. I only argue religion in person if someone brings it up or if someone's, possibly being abused because of it. And they have to, but most people have to prod me a few times before I'll respond. I'm not some hothead that goes spewing like this at any believer I meet in person, if that's rude and counterproductive. But online, it's everybody's choice to read or not read, or I guess watch a video, what I say. And I can't be punched in the face by one of those grenade-fused Christians who are too wrapped up in loving God to realize that hurting a real existing human is much worse than a fake imaginary God. Can't really punch God, can't really hurt an imaginary infinite being. So why would you hurt people over it? Anyway, our purpose isn't to just go around poo-pooing all things religious, but to expose the hatefulness and discriminatory nature at the core of the worst, biggest religions, so that at least believers are, at the very least, disobeying those hateful parts of their God's laws in order to, in the value of humanity. But really to hopefully allow people to see the education and do the research themselves to shake the shackles of religion off their own minds, so they can experience all the facets of reality that religion shuns out of fear. And about new atheism, there's nothing new about atheism. What I think people are mistaking for new atheism is just that the introduction of the internet allowed more minds to connect beyond the boundaries of small towns and small town mentalities. This caused the general global atheist voice to rise together and become better known. Now that we have multiple ways to freely distribute our thoughts to anyone who will listen, blogs, vlogs, YouTube, Facebook, etc., especially when what we're saying is rare enough to be sought by those who need to feel like they're not all alone in this world, like me, in this town surrounded by churches, where you can almost hardly breathe without someone mentioning Jesus. Well, at school, that's how it was. There were these really intense ones. But you can't even mention a lot of things around people. This is one of those towns where happy holidays is offensive to a lot of people. But that kind of, when we're saying that kind of thing, when we are able to speak to people who need to be spoken, need help, need to reach out to other people that have the same kind of thing, that has given the world the atheist voice, that has given the atheist voice some vavoom. We are here and we will not be bullied, that the religious world wasn't quite ready to deal with yet. The ant grew muscles under that boot. And so they start labeling the critics of religion as being haters of people, when that couldn't be the more opposite. To get their own people pre-hating the critics before even hearing what the critics have to say themselves about the abuses of religion that they are responding to. Believers are conditioned to ignore opposition. How can that not be clear as being an evil system, using its believers as victims, as willing victims? Despite all this, it is my own personal optimistic view of humanity's potential, my appreciation for how rare we are and how short this experience is for each of us, that has me opposing life-degrading religious dogmas all the stronger.